What's going on, guys? Ignore everything you just saw. My OBS kind of stopped recording and then just crashed, so I had to redo a postcon for this week, which is very frustrating because you should see my hype for this game. But anyways, we're taking on Big Dookie for week 8 of the LGA. If we win this game, we will 100% clinch and lock in playoffs. If we lose this game, we should theoretically still make playoffs, but it will be really tougher near the ending of seeding, especially if people do well and get up. I know this matchup is actually really important for Dookie. They have to win this game in order to stay alive in the playoffs. So unfortunately, it's a Jolteon warfare. Except this time, he's got the mascot. I don't. But very excited for this matchup. If you guys are excited, leave a like. If you haven't already, subscribe if you're new. Join the crew today because you'll be thrilling with the king of the crew. And if I haven't said already, this is going to be a post-com because again, it crashed on me for no real reason, and I don't know why this. If I can just get actual OBS to do stuff like this, then we be good. But my computer, for some reason, is not setting up OBS. Oh, I'll figure this out eventually. But anyways, let's talk about this game. So their team is Tornadus T, Cian Samurott, Ironmoth, Donphan, Jolteon, Annihilate, Klefki, Lorantis, Dracloak, and Persian. The Terra Captives being Jolteon and Dracloak. So into this matchup, I was really not expecting Lorantis at all. I was not really expecting Draclo, even with Terra, to come at all. I also felt like there was a small chance he could bring the Persian, but I felt like Persian didn't make any sense. So he basically had 7 bonds that definitely could have all came this matchup being Torrentee, Samurott, Ironmoth, Donphan, Jolteon, and Annihilate, and Klefki. I figured the best 6 into this team was going to be the Hisuian Samurott, Ironmoth, Donphan, Jolteon, Annihilate, and Klefki. I felt like Torn was okay, but I felt like I had too many good answers to it. Now I know Hisuian Samurott also was a Pokemon that could have easily been swapped out as well for Torn, possibly, but I feel like Samurott offers a lot more, especially having spikes on this team for instances like this. So I felt like it was more beneficial. And in terms of Terras, I think the Jolteon was most likely going to be Fairy in this matchup, just because Fairy matched up very well into my team. Ice didn't make really a ton of sense, and any other typing out there didn't really make any sense. I think Fairy was the best type to go into this matchup with. So let's go ahead and talk about the team that we are bringing this week. We are rocking out with a Culverberry Latios this week with Calm Mind, Recover, Luster, Persian, or Spear. Max HP, 92 defense, 108 special attack with Modest Nature, and 56 speed. The 56 speed lets me outspeed any speed investment mons or none less than speed investment mons that are not named Iron Moth and everything. I wanted to kind of go with more of a bulky offensive Latios this week just because I felt like it would really do well into the team and really check offensively a lot of Pokemon that my opponent could bring into this matchup. And I felt like it was a really good mod. Up next, we have Original, the RHYDON here with the Violet Lightning Rod, which makes sure that I can wall Jolteon to the end of time. Swords Dance, Terra Blast, Brick Break, and Earthquake. 56 HP, 116 attack, max speed depth, and 84 speed. This speed investment lets me guarantee I'll be faster than Donphan if it's 0 speed invested into it by 1 point, which is really big because getting a more faster hard hit off on the Donphan matters a lot more in terms of an offensive setting. I went with basically max Spadell bulk to take more hits from my opponent's team. And felt like just offensive right on just so well into this matchup. I felt like it really just kind of covered a lot of bases offensively, and felt like it was really good. We were also going Terra Flying this week because with Lightning Rod, I walled Jolteon to the end of time. Plus, I felt like Flying was really good to be able to hit the Annihilate for super effective damage. Plus, also being able to resist any potential ground moves as well. That could also be a factor. That could also play something in there. And also having the coverage needed to be, we also have some resistances as well. We are Terra Blast for that reason, Earthquake because it's our spam. And then I have Brick Break. Brick Break is primarily only there for screens to remove, and that's it. Nothing else is really needed for those screens at all. Obviously, we have Elsa here, although Ninetales with a Royal Hypnosis, Moonblast, and Blizzard. 88 HP, 116 speed, and max special attack mods. Again, enough speed to outspeed some of those lower end speed investments that we were going for, and going for very aggressive speed creeping for my opponent that they were going to do into this matchup. But basically, Royale just to get the Veil up and just have those turns and just be able to do so much damage into my opponent's roster. Also having the Hypnosis is just kind of there for in case I want to go and hit something, put something to sleep. But Moonblast plus Blizzard pretty much just clicks buttons into my opponent's team, and they do not good resistance and or switches to either stab, especially if their resistance that they have are down and out. Next, we're bringing back the weakness policy. Iron Hands this week with Sword Stance, Thunder Punch, Ice Punch, and Brick Break. I really was thinking about going with Drain Punch this set because I feel like Drain Punch was better for recovery purposes. But again, needing to get those screens away is really important in this matchup. Thunder Punch with Ice Punch literally hits everything for super effective neutral damage, which is really good. Under Veil, this thing can just do everything else. This outspeeds Donphan guaranteed. 124 HP, 12 attack, adamant, 112 in defense, and max def. The Spadef's basically there to be able to take some hits under Veil and also just take hits from the Torrentee or the Iron Moth. And just generally just fire off strong hits. Especially if I get a weakness policy plus an SD off, I literally just click bites in front of my opponent's team. So very much looking forward to using this Iron Hand set. I want the weakness policies to pop off. I'm next we have Choice Specs and Empoleon, and I'm not gonna lie, Empoleon's been kind of useless for us this season. But this is a matchup where it does have a lot of good usage. It's got really good water options in this matchup. With Hydro Pump, Surf, and Flash Cannon, Dual Stab does really well. We have Ice Beam just realistically there to kind of cover a potential Dracloak if it's not Terra, and also for a Lurantis potentially as well. Or you just also cover any Terra option on their team as well. 144 HP, 112 defense, and max special attack with a modest nature. We did not need any speed investment to outspeed any of the bulk that I felt like this could potentially bring in. So I just felt like going very offensive with this thing and just really hitting hard. And that's what leads up Tumbleweed here with the Akka Berry to take at least one fire hit from anything on my opponent's run, especially if there was potentially Terra Fire on the Jolteon or the fire from the Iron Moth and be able to revenge it with a Poltergeist or Power Whip. Poltergeist if it's not burned, it's berry. We have Strength Set, Spikes, Poltergeist, and Power with Infiltrator. Again, to get past those screens to be able to do really good damage to my opponent's roster. Max speed, 40 attack, and 260 speed. This seems designed to be a little bit of a defensive nuisance to my opponent, but also being a little bit of a kind of damage or a pivoter. Try to get spikes up or try to prevent anything else from being default or rapid spin off my team. So with that, that's the team. Let's get into the matchup. And like I said, this is unfortunately going to have to be on a replay here. So as you can see, my opponent did bring basically everything expected except no Samurott, which again I said there was a possibility it could have been swapped out. I do feel I was a tiny bit surprised, especially since I felt like Torn did worse than Samurai. But Torn and Samurai kind of do about the exact same in terms of weaknesses. But I think just that slight, option with also having a Suckermon to scare out my Latios every single time and guarantee to click ceases as I get scared on being switching out for that was really important. But yeah, so I felt like there was a couple of leads they could have done in this one. They could have led with the Torn, they could have led with the Klefki, they could have led with the Jolteon, and they also could have potentially had led off with the Dawn Fan here. So I felt like regardless, my best lead into Element Mons in this matchup was going to be my Rhydon here. So I'm going to lead off with my Rhydon here as they actually lead off with the Armor, revealing to be special attack booster energy, which is very surprising to me. I'm going to go for Swords Dance as they actually click Substitute. Very I click Earthquake first, then I Earthquake again into a Swords Dance on the Donphan, and that Donphan is very much either Fizz Dev, but not a lot of Fizz Dev investment, or this thing is or it's very specially defensive with Rocky Helmet or something. But they're gonna go Rock Series Ice Swords Hands. I'm gonna click Earthquake, get a crit. That crit didn't matter unless they did have some defense investment with being impish. If they had defense investment, well, also being like maybe Def or something, that crit didn't matter. If there was some chance they could have lived that hit, I do apologize for the crit, but regardless, it only would have mattered in them getting damage off on my Rhydon. But Rhydon's gonna claim a KO, prove why he's a superior ground type, even though he's a flying type. And right here, I was thinking to myself, okay, there's a chance he could set up a screen, not think I'm Brick Break, or he's going to Magnet Rise here. So, and I looked at my counts. Brick Break 100% 2 AKOs this thing if it's Spadef and not Fizdef. So I go for the Brick Break. They do reveal to be Magnet Rise on the Klefki set here. And we are going to get another crit. Now, the crit did not matter because I think this thing was strongly physically defensive because I count specially defensive because I count physically defensive Klefki with the crit and it never did as much as it did. So this thing was 100% Spadef. So I don't think the crit mattered there, personally speaking, because I do 50 to 60%. At worst, it would have probably been around 40-ish, like around 40-ish%. But again, would have been in range for another Brick Break. And I just spam Brick Break and basically frightened them to not set up screens and just basically sack off their collecting. So Rhydon gets two. They go into Torn. They showed to be a very offensive Torn because I did quite a lot because this Terra Blast is going to nuke this Tornadus. Now, I will say if this was... Okay, can my computer stop doing this weird automatic thing? Well, I will say this. If my opponent had any HP investment, it probably was a roll, and it was probably like a 60-40 or a 55-45 roll. About 55% of the time, the roll's in my favor, 45% chances in their favor. But if they were non HP invested, potentially, then it was a 95 to 100% chance, basically a 70% chance that I always O-code it. So unless I got very unlucky with that roll, it didn't kill, but I always felt like it killed regardless. So, but now they're going them off here. They're just gonna click Fiery Dance. I'm very surprised they didn't click Sludge Wave because that was stronger. I just clicked Terra Blast. Now I clicked Terra Blast there just because if they wanted to me to be, aggressive on a ride on like this being a pivot, potentially. I would have, or if they wanted to this. I'm also very surprised they never went into this at all and never went into Jolteon to try to weaken me down. But I guess they felt like Jolteon was more important than the other mons that they had on the team. But RHYDON claiming 4 KOs, baby. This is what happens when you draft a low tier Terra Captain and you get such great value of it, man. I loved RHYDON. RHYDON has been very fun to use this season. But they're gonna go ahead and Terra Fairy here. They are gonna confirm that they are gonna be specs here. I go into my Ninetales, and I was thinking of a couple of plays here with my Ninetales. I was thinking of two plays here. I was thinking I am either going to click Aurora Veil here or go for Blizzard and get my damage. And I felt in the long game, going for Aurora Veil mattered more because I always lived this hit. If this was modest, it was a roll, probably about a 50-50 roll if it knocked me out, but it definitely confirmed that it was timid. I go down. I'm gonna go into my Iron Hands here. I'm gonna click Iron. I'm gonna click Swords Hands here. It's potentially a roll of two Akiyama, but they're gonna hard out into the Annihilate. I'm gonna go ahead and go for my Thunder Punch here. They actually to reveal a bit of Brick Break and be probably adamant because that did quite a lot of damage to me. I'm gonna go for a Thunder Punch and get a nice big meaty chunk here. I'm gonna Ice Punch though on the Jolteon prediction here and be able to not get the freeze here. I'm basically gonna sack off hands here because I don't really need hands to win the game. And it's also slower. I don't want to give any potential HP to my opponent. They're going to go ahead and click Terra Blast here as I go click Surf here. Now, there's a couple of situations here where I probably should have always swapped out, but Rage Fist was super free into my team, and I felt like I could not risk him clicking Rage Fist against my team. So I do make the idea to sack off Trident. I go into my Latios and click Luster Purge here, and they do say GG because that means that they are 100% confirmed to be Choice Scarf, and we are going to get the Luster Purge and knock them out, and we are going to win this game through 2-0. We could have won this game possibly 3 or 4-0, but I'm going to tell you right now, I don't care. I think playing for differential is cheap. I think it's not really the best way to play the game. And more importantly, I don't think it's really important as long as you just keep winning. You build up good differential as you win more. That's how it really works. Now, I will say if I see an opportunity, I could have maybe gone for. Like, if I knew that thing was Choice Scarf, I could have gone into my Brambleghast. But again, if it was Rage Fist, like, what was I going to do? Like, I could have been potentially 2 KO'd, and I could have potentially risked it, but at the end of the day, I felt like I made the safest play possible. I think they didn't think about clicking Rage Fist because it was only 100 base power, and more than likely, I always lived one with my Empoleon. So I think they just decided just to try to go for whatever kill they could get. So there's that. But I'm very much happy we picked up this win. With this, we are now 6-2. We guarantee playoffs now. If we win next week, we could possibly guarantee a top three seed, or at worst, finish fourth seed overall. If we lose, we'll probably finish between 4 and 6 seed, which is okay. We still make playoffs regardless, and I'm very happy. We've been on a kill streak as of late with this team. Now, I won't lie, we did get probably a tiny bit lucky, but we also have been playing very well in this league after having just rock a rocky kind of maybe 4 weeks or so after I think we had a really rough week one. No, week two is when I think when we had a really rough one. And then we had a okay loss on the other one, but then we just been kind of steamrolling with this team, and I've been feeling really good about my long man. Definitely, when you get limited with your Pokemon, you get a lot more creative and a lot more building with it, and I just overall like it. So yeah, GG's to my opponent Dookie. Sorry to knock out a fellow Jolteon team out, but hey, there has to be one of us here, man. And today it's my day. Next day it could be yours because I could be bad at it. Never mind. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.